Okay. Hey Jude, hey Kerry, hey Karen, hey Val, hey Asha. Nice to have you here. Thanks for joining me. So hopefully you've all managed to download the freebies this week from the Soul Embellishment website. Now I know a couple of you have been interested in last week's downloads. I will PM you personally with those, but they will all be available at the end of this session, at the end of this month, for free download also. So, yeah, that just a couple of weeks left, and then you'll be able to download the whole lot together. And then if there's anyone who would be interested in me printing them for you, then that's absolutely fine too. We'll work that out. Hey Michelle, hey Susan, nice to have you all here. So tonight we're going to talk about our second installment. You'll see that pretty much the names of the 3 tags we're going to make, or the titles of the tags that we're going to sort of develop. And we're also joined by my personal assistant, Josiah.
Hello.
So you're blessed with his company as well tonight. So hopefully you will enjoy some time with me tonight and Josiah. And if you're creating along with me, that's awesome. If not, it will also be available on YouTube. So I managed to finally get last week's up on YouTube today. So sorry for those that were waiting for it, but it's now available on YouTube and with my lovely voice over. Downloading. No worries, Val. I'll PM you after this. Kerry, I don't think Joe's going to bless us with singing unless he's got something in store.
But it's very early on, so you don't know. I don't even know.
So, yeah, it's spontaneous. So tonight we're going to move through 3 tags, okay? So what I've done is I've sped the videos up just slightly, so you'll still be able to see everything that's going on. Hopefully it all goes smooth sailing. And, yeah, you'll be able to see what I'm doing. And let's have a little sneak peek of what we're going to make. So I'm just going to show you quickly the 3 tags tonight. So we've got this guy. Let me turn down my light a little bit because it glares. So we've got the first one, which is a take of the blue. So remember last week we ended with this grey one, right? So we've got that chaos going on with the stamping. And then we've got this one, which reflects the grey, but it's now having this change of colour. So it's coming into a blue. So we're travelling through a new colour. We're then going to move through to another purpley blue. So again, this is going to really start to change the mood a little bit as well. And then finally we're going to transition from purple into pink. Now we're starting to see, as you can see, we're starting to see that change of positivity. And this one's called Hope. So this one again is what will start to really start to tell the story of coming from that really dark venture at the beginning right through to a gradual progression and finally feeling a little bit happier within ourselves and a bit freer too. So without further ado, let's start this video process and we'll have a little chat and create. Thank you, Mr. PA. Okay, so we're starting with that first tag, which is our blue one, which is the Confide tag. And it looks like we're all good, Joey. Looks like no glitching tonight. Woohoo! Thank you for enjoying the transition, Val and Kerry. I like that you understand where I'm going. It's always a little scary if you're wondering where I'm going and sometimes I don't have very good words like right this minute. But yeah, I just hope the translation comes through, which is awesome. So
last week you said trust me, you did.
I did say trust me.
We're starting off very dark
Yes, but we are progressing out of the darkness. So the tags, Kerry, are 4 inches wide by 6 inches long, and then I hole punch the sides. So you'll see me do that in a minute when I've realised that I've cut my tag, put white gesso on, and then went, oh, I haven't got my holes. So you'll see me just standard hole punch. So yeah, they're the size 4 inches by 6 inches. So I'm priming this one like we did the last tag. We're going to prime it with white gesso. Now this will become a pretty common occurrence in the next few tags. So you will be able to see the colour that comes out of it when you prime it with white gesso. I'm just going to breathe for a minute and ask everyone how their week's been. I know it's already Thursday, which is crazy. Have you had any creative time, anything like that? I'm just reading your comments. So is it better to be 50 then, Kerry? Because I'm scared of 50. I mean, I'm sad that you were not in a good place last week, but I know you had some family time, and that's got to be a nice thing. 60s. Oh, well, the 60s are better than 50s then. Is that what you're saying? So maybe I shouldn't be looking forward to my 50s. I'm not sure if there's anyone from New South Wales watching this week, but your weeks have all changed this week, being able to get out of the house. So if you are from New South Wales, how did that feel to be a little bit more freer? I'm sure you've had a quiet week. That's nice. I'll swap you. Susan, you're from New South Wales, so it was good. Who went and saw family first? Or did they go get their hair done? So, next we're going to, I was just thinking about something and just realised I should probably tell you what I'm doing with the tag. So I'm, again, using the stencil that we used last week, and I'm using it in similar placing, a little bit less though this time. So it's got those cobbled stones over to the right hand side of the tag, but I'm using less of it and introducing this brickwork one, which is again going to fill up that space but has that difference. So there's this change in what's happening with my mindset and what we're going to play with. Oh, Tina, I know how that feels. Losing your mojo is not good. My week's been pretty busy. It's been rather busy. I've been working this week, like proper working, and then I've been trying to do things for Sew Embellishment and get tonight's live up and ready. So it's been pretty busy. Oh, Susan, that's so nice. Oh, I bet that was long overdue. Oh, Val, I'm so sorry to hear that you've not been great, but I'm very happy to have your company here. Yes, I'm glad. I am too, Kerry. I'm glad Tina's got her mojo back. It's nothing worse than when you feel like you can't create or do something nice for yourself.
You can't keep a good woman down.
Oh, sometimes you can. Oh, family is so important. And when you can't see them like, when you guys have, it's very, very hard. So what a lovely thing to be able to do this week is just wrap your arms around someone and just be able to see them and catch up properly. I love how you all talk to each other. It's so good. So I've been trying to introduce music more often when I'm scrapping. I find that if I am scrapping in a very quiet room with just the traffic driving past, I don't find I enjoy the process as much. Hey, Jason, nice to have you here. Hey, Annette. So, yeah, I've been trying to do that. Does anyone else scrap with music or TV or YouTube? What do you like to do when you're scrapping? I'll just tell you a little about what I'm doing on my tag as well. So I've added a little bit of that texture and texture paste through the stencil onto my card. So it's got the similar brickwork and stonework on my picture as well. And now I'm making sure it's dry. So I've just built that kind of wall on the side that we will eventually break down. You watch crime, Kerry. Wow, that's different. That's kind of cool, though. I wouldn't have thought of doing that. Yeah, Tina, music's amazing, isn't it? Makes everything feel better. Yep. Nice. Look, nice one, Jude. I like music. It's got to be the right style of music, though. Maybe not sometimes what the boys are playing. They have a lot of, what do you call it, Josiah?
Oh, I think it's called house music.
House, okay. Oh, we're so up there with the big art journaling videos. So you watch art journaling videos when you're creating, Susan. That's pretty cool.
I think they call it house music because you're supposed to play it in your house. Is that what it means?
I don't think so.
Oh.
We'll have to ask the young people. You have the TV, Michelle. It's good company. I know I've heard you have the football on before. Have I missed anything here? Oh, Tina, big hugs to you. I hope that it's going. Joe Cocker on the radio. Nice, Annette.
Yeah.
That's not bad at all.
Leave your hat on.
Yeah. You know he sings more than just that song.
Oh.
Of course you do, Tina. Of course you love country. Who's your favourite artist?
Tina, I love both sorts of music, country and western.
Oh dear. You know what's really nice is I love that you are also honest as well. Like you've all obviously not, there's a few of you that have not had the best of weeks for whatever reasons, and it's really nice that you feel safe and be able to share and know that it's good to share. So thanks for pouring out your hearts and being a part of this. It's very important. So let's talk about the tag a little bit now. So last week, if you joined us, I did something very similar to this tag with the grey one. This time, I am doing less of the chaotic words and numbers. So it's still there, but a little bit less, a little bit more of that white shining through. And we're going to introduce that blue colour. So we're transitioning into a dark blue. So I just realised that my stamp was upside down, and there it goes.
Now everyone's going to see that.
So it's still got that chaotic feel because we're not out of that yet. We're not out of that darkness fully. It's still that in the back of our minds. But we're coming to the part where I guess what I was just talking about, how you all are comfortable enough to be on here and discuss how we really feel. So this one is called Confide, and that's the really nice thing, is that when we realise that we are able to talk to somebody or to feel comfortable enough to really let go and just relax with someone and tell them how we feel, that's a really important part of moving past that really dark, sadness that we can feel. So I'm using some really cool blues in this one. So I'm using a little bit of this iZink ink. What's it called? Hang on, let me just get it, because it's a really cool one. Oh, I've got so many here. It's called Celestial. Of course it is. And it's by Seth Apter, and it's so cool. It's a really, really cool ink, basically. It's a pigment ink, and it waters down beautifully, and it plays like a watercolor, but it can also be used as an acrylic. The blues are in it. Yes, Joe is distracting me, Kerry. Okay, Tina's got a list, Joe. Luke Combs, Adam Brand, Justin Lynch, Luke Bryan, and many more.
Wow.
Then she likes rock, Jimmy Barnes, and rap. That's so different.
Helps you get the shearing done, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's probably good for the shearing. Oh, Jason, camping sounds good. If you like camping. No, I do like camping. We're going camping next weekend, so that should be good.
And you probably have lots of good things to scrap too when you've been away, Jason.
Yeah,
Memories?
absolutely. All those fire pictures you were posting on Facebook, that's what you'll have to scrap, Jace. So you can see I'm using the ink here just on the modelling paste, so it's really, really coming through that modelling paste. Mine too, Kerry, absolutely. But we've got a little caravan, so I don't mind that either, and we've made it very comfortable, so I can't really complain. I'm also using, is it called Prized Ribbon? I can never quite remember which way it's gone. Yep, Prized Ribbon. So that's the Tim Holtz Distress Oxide. So I'm mixing the iZink ink with the Prized Ribbon Oxide to get those two-tone blues, to get that real, sounds really good, two-tone blues. Sounds like some sort of music. So, yeah, I've made that, and I'm only applying it to the modelling paste area. And I love these stencils because the colour really soaks into that paste, and you can see the difference in it. I'm just reading your comments, so if I go quiet it's because I'm reading and I can't talk and read at the same time.
But your heat gun's very silent.
My heat gun's super silent.
Yeah.
So is my hands and everything. It's amazing. So while I've got those colours out, I'm now going to add a little bit of this colour to my watercolour paper, which is what my daisies are printed on. And again, I'm going over the modelling paste. I love that there's such a wide variety of music out there. There's certainly no chance of us getting bored. '50s and '60s are pretty good, Val. So we've got our colour starting to really appear now. We can see this transition. Hey Belinda, nice to have you join us from Geelong. That's so cool. It is very eclectic tastes. I love it. I love it too, Susan. That's awesome. Wow, Black Sorrows. I haven't listened to them for ages. Yeah, Jason, I'm with you on those. They're probably the things that I do most. Listening to music is probably number one. So I'm now going to add some of the grey that appeared last week. So I've pulled out the grey again. This time it's another oxide ink, and I've just activated it, and I'm adding it to the blues so that it's referencing from the grey one last week. It's now going to reference within my blues. And again, just working on the modelling paste area. So I've added a bit of water. I'm using my finger as well as the paintbrush. So you can see I'm just really moving it around a little bit, but without encroaching on the letters and the numbers. So you're talking about the grey, Michelle. That was, oh, my brain's forgotten. Hickory Smoke, I think it was. Yep, Hickory Smoke. Hickory Smoke, and the blue was Prize Ribbon. I like reading what all your favourite artists are. That's cool. So I'm then going to make sure that that is completely dry. And just with the heat gun and my paintbrush, I just keep adding little bits of blue so that we get that lighter and darker shade. Oh, that's all right, Kerry. That'll make it interesting. So again, I'm still working on that modelling paste area. And just continue to dry it so that we can keep adding layers to add that dark and light shading. You got any questions for everyone, Josiah? Or anything?
At the moment, I'm just watching. So again, that flower, what medium have you got that on?
That's printed on a watercolour paper. Ah, very good, Kerry. That's all right. So now I'm going to just ink the edges with black. And yeah, sort of bringing it in with the black still, because it's still, we're not out of that darkness yet, but we are slowly transitioning. Yeah, I printed on watercolour paper so that I can add the colours and let it move a little bit, and I wanted to be able to paint my petals on my flowers. He is very quiet, Tina, I agree.
I'm just watching, Tina. I'm enjoying. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen this either come together.
So now I'm inking the edges of my picture as well. Again, only lightly because I wanted it to be different. And yeah, just start to really notice that there's the lighter side coming through. Thanks, Michelle. I'm glad you like it. So I'm just going back in with some of the stamping because I felt like it needed some of the bigger letters. So I'm just using a little bit more of this large stamp. The live's still up there, Annette, yes, but I've also got it now on my YouTube video. So if you want to look me up, which I think you do, I've actually got a little video up there with my lovely voice tutorial over it. I don't think so, Tina. He gave the thumbs up to that though.
You're right, Tina.
So now comes this little pop of colour through the chaotic words or letters, okay? So I'm using the prize ribbon just to add layers of the blue through the letters to show that there is an escape to all the mental battle that's going in your head, or my head, right now. No worries in there. So yeah, everything will be available on YouTube, and then all the downloads will be available at the end of the month as well. So if anyone's missed anything, you can download it all at the end of the series. So finally decided to actually use some watercolor paint. So this is a blue that I'm going to use in my actual watercolor palette. Yeah, probably. Absolutely, Belinda, they certainly do.
And this is something people can put in a journal if they want, can't they? Instead
Absolutely.
of a tag, if
Yep.
they really wanted to.
Yeah, if you don't want to build a little tag book, which is what this will become, then by all means, yeah, absolutely, you can art journal pages instead. Still similar, you can do similar backgrounds like this in your art journal. It's not a very bulky, well, these ones aren't very bulky, but you know me, it will eventually probably become bulky. Layered, yes. Yes, so they are absolutely able to be modified to art journaling. So this is the watercolor paint that I'm actually painting onto one of my petals. I actually painted onto 2 petals because if you remember last week when we did the grey, we only painted one. So there's also this feel of, progression of colour coming through our flowers as well. So there's little subtle stories all the way through it. Though these watercolour paints are beautiful, Kerry, they are super beautiful. I probably don't use them to the best extent that they possibly could get used, but I do enjoy using them. Watercolour is something that I haven't dived too heavily into, but they're there and I like the little bit that I do get to use. Is that all my questions, Joe? Thought you'd be like bouncing.
I know that you sometimes finding time to create is a thing, like balancing work and other things. What about, does anyone else like work out of the house and have to find time to create or for your thoughts or your mental health?
That's very good. Who else has to fight work for creativity? So I was just showing there that I'm actually going to use the darker portions of the little 3x4 cards because I still wanted to reflect that black and grey coming with the blue. And again, I'm going to tear it, but if you notice, I'm not tearing it quite as aggressively as I did in the last couple because we are slowly trying to pull ourselves together, I guess, in that sense, and just start to, there's still raw edges, there's still real vulnerability here, but I'm keeping it quite, probably a little bit more neat, starting to feel a little bit more put together. So that's what I wanted to portray with the tearing on this one. It was there, but it's still, it's not as, jagged. It's very hard to find time for yourself. Yes. Belinda, I'm a bit like that. I feel guilty. I feel guilty when I know it's time for me, but I need to do other stuff. And it's like, no, I really need to do this. And then the crafting side is often put aside. And then you think, oh, I wish I just spent that hour doing something for me because I would have felt better. I love that. I love that you call that your naughty corner. It's like the best naughty corner ever. It's almost like when you punish your kid without punishment. Oh, I'm glad today was a bit better, Kerry. That's heaps good. Lockdown's hard for everyone, isn't it?
And to be able to laugh with people, that's brilliant, isn't it? That certainly helps your mind. Doesn't solve everything, but it helps, doesn't it? When you can laugh
Yep.
and be free, and yeah, I think it is very good. It's sort of almost a therapy, isn't it? When you've
Yeah.
got that.
Well, there is a thing called laughing therapy, isn't there? I think it would be a bit weird though, just sitting there and forcing yourself to laugh. But I think eventually, if you force yourself to laugh, you become that you just naturally start laughing.
Either that, or you get a really sore stomach. But
Well, there's always, or really sore cheeks. Oh, that's a really cool way of putting it, Belinda. I really quite like that.
Analogy.
Mm.
Excellent.
Yeah, be naughty more, Tina. Yeah, absolutely, Michelle. So I'm just now gluing in my layers. And of course I'm going to foam tape because I can't not have dimension. So just foam taping in the middle. Oh, that's cool, Susan. That's a great way of helping people too. And it makes you feel good that you can help people, especially when they're in lockdown. So that's really cool. I might have to call on you. So now I introduce a little embellishment. My little mushroom. So here's, if you have a look at our words on this tag, we've got, the main one is confide. We've got, yeah.
They'll probably see them in a minute.
Oh, okay.
But you can still talk about
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you'll see the words in a minute. But if you've printed your download, you'll see that there's other words like talk and vulnerable. So our little Daisy here is going to be talking to our little mushroom. He's confided in our mushroom. There's mushroom for him to confide.
Oh no.
So now he's no longer alone.
No, he's found someone he feels safe and secure. See, it's a he again. My Daisy is a he. So it's very scary when you first start to want to be free to talk about it. So that's where the vulnerability comes into it. And if you do see a therapist, sometimes you feel a little bit embarrassed even, to start off with. But then when you realise that you can talk about it, then you realise that it's okay to let go and trust somebody. So just like you have to trust me with this process, it's always good to be able to trust someone with your personal thoughts and feelings. And I can't stop singing Kylie Minogue, Confide in Me, every time I see the word confide. Every time I see the word confide. Ay. That's embarrassing.
At least it's not locomotion, so
No.
it could be worse.
I am just a train wreck. I'm just going to read your comments. There's a few come through. So you can talk, Jojo. 13 great nieces. Wow, Susan, that's amazing. What a huge family. That is so nice that you can help everyone like that. That is so nice. That is so nice, Tina. He's a good man. I'm glad you feel that way, Kerry. See, we've got some decent people in our lives. That's pretty nice. It's a bit special. Okay, so I've just added my words, and now I am just flicking a little bit of grey over the top. So that ties it in with our grey tag. And that is the first tag pretty much complete. So I hope you liked that one. We're now going to see a new transitional colour with a little bit of blue. That's nice, Susan.
And I think with this too, like what you've got here, sort of the colour on that printable, it's not that you have to use the tags, is it? It's sort of more of a colour palette for the progression.
That's right. Yeah, you don't have to use those 3x4s. That is completely, well, I mean, they are absolutely there for you to use, but they are more to show you the colour scheme that it's going through. So, yeah, don't feel that you have to use the tags. If you've got other things that are in your stash that are those complementary colours to use, then yeah, that's awesome as well. Alrighty, we're up to tag 4.
What are you doing here, Emma? I've never seen this before.
Oh, this is the boring part. This is another 4x6 inch tag. This time I've pre-holed it.
Oh.
I remembered.
You're so efficient.
And I'm priming it with white gesso.
Nice. So yes, the video, it hasn't started again. This is definitely the next tag.
Yes, this is the next tag. And this one's accept. So we've gone from confiding to accepting. And it's just a bit boring, so, you know, it's white gesso dried. It's so that our colour pops. And it primes our box board or card or whatever it is that you want to use. Craft card even. But it just primes it so you don't have that flat yellow or brown colour.
Is there a particular gesso that you like to use?
Yes, I do. I like a thick gesso. It's very thick. And it's a Prima Finnabar one. It's really boring TV, really, this bit, isn't it? I should have edited that bit out.
This is when you go and make a cup of tea.
Yes.
And then you come back.
That's it. So now that it's dry, again, I'm grabbing some paste. No. Oh, I'd forgotten about this bit. So this is actually some tissue paper, Tim Holtz tissue paper. And instead of stamping the letters and numbers, I decided to use some of the tissue paper because it still then referenced those letters and numbers from the stamping on the previous tags. So what I've grabbed there, that tub there, is gel medium. So we are going to glue that down with some gel medium. And that will be almost as exciting as watching the paint dry on the tag. So I'm just adding the gel medium in the areas that I need the tissue paper to be placed. Oh, cool, Kerry. That's awesome. You'll be able to use it. I love this tissue paper. It's very cool.
When I saw your tag, I thought it was stamped.
You did, yes.
Yes.
This tissue paper, it's almost as good as some embellishments tissue paper or rice paper. It transfers, because it's nice and thin, it transfers really nicely and translucently, so it does look like a stamped image rather than a piece of paper stuck on. Oh, Tina, I'm so sorry. That's not easy. Confiding is hard.
It's hard. Yeah.
It is very hard. And especially when you realise that you need help and you want to reach out to someone. That's awful that happened to you. A wine sounds pretty good, Annette. Anything's better than watching cricket, Kerry. Oh, that's nice, Annette. Thank you. Me too. I'm always only a message away too if anyone needs. I love that we're all there for each other. It's really nice.
I think you've had a few people, particularly since COVID started, haven't you?
Yeah.
You've had a little network since last March, April.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, that's really nice.
It's been good for me, and hopefully it's been good for others as well. Have reached out, so it's been really nice to have that little community. Really, being able to have an online presence and still be interactive with people is really good. I think I say that all the time, but it really is great. See, now I want to sing another song because Kerry just wrote.
I don't like
Was
cricket. Oh no. I love it.
There you go, you got him singing. Oh dear.
And I bet I sounded very Jamaican. You're going to say, wow, is he Jamaican? That's how convincing it was.
Oh dear. Oh dear. There's so many puns running through my head right now. Yes, it did, Kerry. It's been the best.
Stop it. You're making me laugh too
Oh,
much.
no. Okay, Kerry told you to stop singing. It obviously came across bad. Oh dear. So I'm just drying my tissue paper now because that's exciting too. But it's getting there. It's all going to make sense very soon. You got to start with the basic layers to get to that end result. Oh, the cricket. Yeah. So now I'm going to distress my edges. So I ended up, sorry, I missed that step, didn't I? So once it was dry with the gel medium, I added clear gesso, Jude. I added some clear gesso. So that way when I add the colours, it will move and play for me. It primes all, like it will prime the tissue paper and the tag itself, ready to put some colour on. Oh dear, you guys are funny. Okay, here comes some colour. Now, I'm going to use some acrylic paint for this one, if I remember correctly. And the next colour tone is going to be presenting itself very shortly. So we use that dark blue, almost that blue, like blue cross purple, like it was quite deep. So guess what colour's next? Purple! So I used a Dylusions ink spray for this in crushed grape. So because we had primed it with that clear gesso, it means that when I add a wet medium like this, it moves freely across the tag. So it's easy to create a drippy effect or to remove something that you really didn't like on that page. So it's the perfect medium to create a number of effects with, but it mostly primes your page to help it, you know, do the thing you really want it to. It is, Kerry. You're all very distracting. So as you can see, it glided down that page quite easily, and I could keep adding. I just used the tip of the actual, I opened the bottle and used the end of the spray nozzle, so it just, became like its own little pipette basically, and just dribbled it down. And now I'm drying that. And I love that you can just dribble it and let it do its thing. Like, so it's moved in amongst the tissue papers. It's smudged a little bit. It's completely imperfect, which is exactly the effect I want. I never create anything amazingly perfect. Sometimes I wish I did, but then I've got to embrace the imperfection. And because this one is accept, this is where we accept all our flaws. So none of us are perfect, and we can accept that everything's a little bit frayed and not so great. It's a good feeling to actually accept that. So I'm grabbing my palette knife now, and I'm using a couple of different acrylic paints. Now these were just cheapy paints from, I don't know where, I can't remember. But I got one that's got that really rich blue purple colour, so that it complemented the blue from the last tag. So this looks quite blue on screen. In real, it's got a real deep purple to it. Oh, that's all right, Kerry. That's nice. Oh, how nice. You've got a cup of tea and a Kit Kat. I'm hoping it's a chocolate Kit Kat and
It's
not
not
a
a competition.
Kit Kat.
It's not a competition, okay? It's oh, I haven't brought a cup of tea in tonight. I'm sorry.
No, I don't want one. Oh, you do. That's awesome, Belinda. I love that. So now I've got a more lilac acrylic paint, and I'm now again doing the same process that I did a minute ago, but I'm overlapping this lighter shade of purple onto the darker. So I'm just scraping this colour on with a palette knife. I really like this technique. It adds colour without having to think too hard. And it also is really good if you ever go too heavy on something, because you can always add white over the top and sort of make it look like it was supposed to be like that. You didn't overshare anything, Tina. It's all awesome.
What you haven't shared is any good food pictures lately, or maybe I just haven't seen any.
She's been too busy. They've been shearing.
Oh,
Give her a break, Josiah.
that is what I am jealous of. When I see that food, I'm like,
I know. So it's like, Emma, why can't you bake that?
Profiterole or a, I don't know, something.
So the leftover paint I'm just now adding to my actual daisy picture. Now our daisy is standing pretty upright now. It is looking out. It's accepting where it's feeling much better. So yes, the remainder of that paint I have just added to my little picture. And now I'm thinking about what I need to do next. I'm going to grab my little stencil. And I'm going to add a blue. I'm trying to think what colour it was. It was a paint. I think I used that Celestial again. That Ising Celestial. And I've used it with a paint dauber and just added it through my stencil. I didn't use an ink. I used the Ising, which is basically an inky acrylic. Yes, so I'm using a dauber and I'm going to put the pattern of this stencil through with the paint.
I'd say that's adorbs, Emma.
So I just concentrate this in a few sections of my tag. So, yeah, go for it. What were you going to say?
You look like very like free in this tag, what you're making.
Yeah, this one was quite not easy, but it flowed well. I think because I could play with colour. So the last 3 were very dark for me, and I don't normally play with dark, and if I do play with dark, I always add one light colour to it. So this was probably a little bit more starting to feel like me because I could use pops of colour. But in saying that, purple is my nemesis. So I don't normally like playing with purple at all, but I actually found the process to get to the purple therapy in itself because I couldn't wait to play with purple. Tina made melting moments, Josiah.
Oh, shut the front door.
She said that's how she won Wayne.
Ah, well, I understand.
Now she's thinking she needs to make cream puffs.
It's taking me back to my childhood, Tina.
I was going to say cream puffs are one of Josiah's favourites. I always think of cream puffs and you. I don't know if that's because you look like a cream puff. Oh dear. On that note, I've grabbed the faded jeans out from the Oxides and I'm using that to ink the edges of my tag. That's funny. So now that I've done that, I'm going to think about using the 3x4 cards. But before I do, there is another step that I do. And I do some embossing. So I grab some silver emboss powder. And I've grabbed a stamp. From memory, I'm trying to think. I've grabbed a script stamp. Yes, a script stamp. And I'm using my ink dauber, my emboss ink dauber. And this is a bit of an older stamp. And I'm just adding it in sections. Me too, Kerry. Oh, Tina, that'd be lovely.
What was that you just said, Emma? Holiday down the southeast.
Yeah. Yep, we're coming. We're off to Robe. I know, isn't that tragic, Kerry? I noticed that. So
Where did you get your inspo from?
Yeah. I think I had the nails before, after. I can't remember. So you can't see it on screen, but I have added the emboss ink to the stamp. And now I'm adding the silver emboss powder. A little bit on my actual picture as well as my tag.
It's one of the most livable cities in the world, Kerry.
Unless you're living
They
here.
say.
We're just moving there just for Tina's food.
That's what put it on the map.
That's it. So I couldn't quite see where I'd actually placed my stamping with the ink. So that's why I was playing around with my fingers on the tag to see if there was anywhere that I'd missed with the emboss powder.
So how important is it to you, Emma, and I guess to others, to just have creative freedom when you're making stuff?
Very important. I don't like feeling boxed in with creativity. I know sometimes there has to be like a a genre that you have to stick to, or especially like if you're in design teams, or you might have a color palette that you might need to work with, but most of the time even that is playable. So even if you've got a color palette, you could make it, 5 different shades of pink or 5 different shades of purple or whatever it is. So you still have that creativity within that play. So I'm just heat setting all that emboss. Yes, Michelle. Tina, we're coming to feed lambs. Adelaide is really nice, Annette. It's like one big country town. I think a lot of people like Adelaide for that reason.
It's very easy to get out of too, so... No,
So you can escape.
no, I mean, you can live on the outskirts of the town, and it's like being in the country, but you're only a few minutes from the town with the convenience.
Oh, yes, that's
You've
very
got
true.
all the convenience, but you can still have quite a quiet place to live, which I think is a real treat.
It is true, yes. Like we live an hour and a half out of Adelaide, but it's not hard to go to the city. So we it makes Adelaide is good for that. You can go be semi-rural or country, but it's not that far from the city if you need to go. So I didn't like that I didn't have quite enough of the emboss. So I actually got out the grey distress ink and I stamped on that. That's what I was doing then. I was stamping some of that script stamp onto my tag and my picture. And now I am using shaded lilac oxide to ink the edges of my picture. Yeah, that's going to be amazing for you guys to be able to lock down in October. That'll be cool. Oh, cool, Annette. That's awesome. Oh no, not one of those rams. But did he do his job too well, Tina? So I had a little bit of leftover of the blue from the last tag, so I've incorporated it in with the new purpley tags. Plus there's this one here that I'm about to chomp up, has got a mix of the blue and the purple, so it's really, really good to mix. This one I could really go blue and purple. It was fun to use 2 colours. So I've actually created, I haven't torn any paper. Have you seen that? No paper was torn in this one. I have actually created what I call my Emma tags. Oh, I lied. I tore a piece. I'm hilarious. So I went with my standard tag making. So I've created 3 little tags that I then stapled along with a piece that I tore. That was because I have to reflect the other tags. Hi, Fee, you're not late. We're only on to our 2nd tag. It's nice to have you here.
There's only 16 to go, so you're fine. It's no worries. No.
I did, Kerry. I was tearing through the last 3, and I thought this one I didn't actually tear, but I did. So there you go. Annette and Kerry both said the same thing. It's like, snap. Oh, your ram was only there for a few hours.
Wow.
He was a happy ram.
It works better than Wi-Fi.
Oh my goodness.
He just has to be in the area.
Okay, working on here. A purple wall hanging, cool. Let's change subject, shall we? Annette, I said we're changing the subject. I hope that's his name.
Yeah, that'd be a good
Randy
name.
the Ram. I don't think Tina likes to name her sheep and rams.
In case
Well,
you
yeah.
don't want to name your roast.
Well, it could be a roasting ram. Okay, I am now foam taping my tags up onto my tag. All good, isn't it? Oh, that's so funny. And again, I'm foam taping my picture and just adding glue. I always like to add glue to my foam tape because of all the mixed media. It helps it actually adhere to the background. So I've just adhered that to my little tags that I'm using behind my image. And this one's coming together nicely now. And I'm going to add a little bit of softness with this one and add a little bit of muslin. So I'm shredding my muslin. Oh, chocolate chip cookies in the air fryer. See, Josiah, another reason we need an air fryer.
Mm.
Oh, you do name your rams. There you go. We've just named Tina's ram. So, yes, we have, now I'm thinking about chocolate chip cookies warmed up in the air fryer.
Is that a different glue than you usually use?
Yes, it is. It's really good, but it's a bit leaky. So this is a puzzle glue, and it's really good for mixed media actually. It dries really quite quickly, and it has quite a bit of dimension to it.
What do you normally use?
I like my 450. There's a lot of people who don't like 450, but I love it. It's stringy and it can be annoying sometimes, but it glues really well and for a long time. So if you have cats that like to pull flowers off your wall hangings that you've made in your house, 450 is the glue to use. So I'm up to my little words. Now that I've added a bit of softness with the gauze or the muslin, I'm now adding my words. So our first main word is accept, which our little flower here is accepting that it's okay to have all the imperfections, to have the feelings that we feel. It's all right to be human. .450 is hard to squeeze. Oh, I haven't found it hard to squeeze. I do have to keep it upside down often. It likes to sit right down the bottom. So if you tip it upside down and keep it upside down for a lot longer, then it will just dribble out for you. You don't have to give it too much squeezing. Oh, Linda's saying she does toasties and roasts in her air fryer. Wow, that's cool. Yes, it's from that May, Fee. That glue. I do like it, but it just seems to continually ooze. And if anyone jumps on now, they're going to wonder, what are they talking about? And then we've got our little words. So this one has a couple of different words. We've got change and evaluate. They're thinking words, aren't they? So we're accepting change. They were good. It was hard to we ummed and ahed over words, didn't we, Joe, to tell the story. So hopefully you like them and that they work. And she warms up her Anzac biscuits too. Oh. And finally I'm going to add my little bee. Kerry, you will love cutting out the bees and the mushrooms and the bugs because they're tiny. Some of you may hate it. But it does add a cute little element. And it adds that bit of freedom too.
So even this flower's not alone.
This flower is not alone.
Mm.
So we're noticing a bit of company coming into it.
Mm.
So yes, we have our busy bee. Yep. So we're almost there. Now I'm going to do something different. I'm getting a couple of little glass dome beads, or melange they may be called. And I am going to add a couple of these little glass domes.
What would they be called if they were red? Would they be Moulin Rouge?
I don't know, you have to ask Finn about that.
Ah.
Oh, that's nice, Kerry. So I thought I would add colour to the base of my domes by adding some emboss powder. So I've never done this before, and I don't know why I suddenly thought of it. I thought, oh, that's a cool idea. So I've just used my Ranger embossed dauber, and then I've chucked them into my little tray. And as you can see, I'm trying really hard to pick them up with my scissors. I'm like, nah, fingers will do. And just sprinkled that bit of emboss powder on top. And then I'm going to heat set. Now, because they're so little, they will blow away if you do this. So just try and reinforce them with a pair of scissors or some pliers or some tweezers or your fingers, but you will burn your fingers. So I'd probably try and use another tool. And I heat set this embossed powder on the base of my domes. And I'm going to say I'm going to do it again, because then when you flip it over, they're already coloured for you. And they kind of create this really cool texture. See, I was just like, oh, that's cool. Mm. So now I'm using that awesome puzzle glue. And because they're no longer see-through, you can add a heap of glue. It doesn't matter what sort of glue you got, because you're not going to see the air bubbles or anything underneath the dome. Which was an awesome Stephen King book. Under the Dome. So I've added my two little domes. Oh, you like dies? Yes, I've never been a big die cutter, but I'm slowly getting there. Cool, nice. That is very cool. And then I am going to grab my watercolor palette again, and I'm going to paint.
Can anyone guess where you're going to paint?
That's true. Is anyone going to guess? And what colour?
Oh, I can see some blue.
I was just throwing you off. And how many petals? Yes.
Ding ding.
Yep.
Gold star.
Kerry got there first. Yep, Kerry got it second. How many petals are we going to paint for this one? Yes, Annette, absolutely correct. You're all such good, guesses. We still need a lucky number. Oh, Kerry, you're so close. But not quite 4. Because that's thrown you, because this is tag 4. But our first one had no colour.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you got an extra one every one.
It's 3. 3 petals, because our first one was too depressed. There's no colour in him. So he didn't start to get colour until the second one rather. And he only had a little bit of colour in him.
Ah.
So there's 3 on this one. And I did add a hint of colour to the base of the flower. But yeah, it's mainly only 3. Well done, everyone. That is our little tag finished. I do flick with a little bit of acrylic white splash ink. And that's our second tag of the night done. I hope you're all enjoying the transition so far. Now, if you haven't downloaded the downloads, they're available all week until, when do we change it over? Monday for the next installment. So download now if you want this week's downloads. Why do I have trouble doing that? Download the downloads. And they're all free for you to play with. So I love being able to give you something fun to create with. So that's our little purple tag, accept, complete.
And it's for a good cause. It's not.
Absolutely.
So,
It's all for your mental health. So, and don't feel like you have to make them like me. Like, this is, they're your downloads, so you make them. Download the printable. Thank you, Michelle. See, I'm too tired to think of words like printable. Isn't it cool, Kerry? I know. Game changer right there. Embossing colour on the back of the domes. Don't sing that song. So that's our little purple tag all complete. Yeah, so please feel free interpreting the tags or the art journal or whatever you want to make out of it into completely your own. We're now going to come into our final tag, and I pre-gessoed before, so you didn't all have to sit through me painting my tag. So when you come to tag 5, again we want it pre-gessoed with white. So guess what colour we're doing next? I had to really think of what colour would flow nicely after the purple, and we thought pink. We thought pink would be the best. So I am just grabbing the my little guillotine. And I'm chopping it into strips. So you cutting up lots and lots of different size strips from a couple of the purple little 3x4s. And I am going to keep cutting, and I've also got a little purple one. So the purple I didn't want as much because we only want to reference it a little bit in from the last one. But yeah, I wanted this one to be able to have a small reference, but really working the pink, because we're going lighter. We're going much lighter now and starting to feel a little more positive and happy. So now I'm going to create, I know a few of you who have attended my classes in the past know I love this technique, and I'm basically creating a patchwork feel. So I've cut all these little strips up, and I am now going to create this sort of patchwork feel. So that's why I've got all random sizes, and I'll continue to create these little patterns. I'm going to do 2 sections. And I like the oddity of each little piece that I put down. So nothing is the same size. Everything is, random. I like random. So I don't overthink this process too much. Obviously, if something's too long, I'll go, nah, I'll chop it. But I don't go, I want it, a centimetre this way, or I want an inch that way, or... Yeah, I want to just keep it fairly random. And I'm gluing them down with gel medium.
So you use metric and imperial, Emma.
Oh, yeah. I'm multi... What do you call that? Multi-rulered. That gives it away that I'm so not.
So you do 12 by 12s or 30 by 30s?
I do.
Wow.
Yeah. But anything bigger than that, I don't know what they are. or smaller, because then it's all inches. So I'll do 8 by 8s and 6 by 6 inches. I love where you're thinking of these, Belinda. I think they're great.
Sorry
Love
for
that.
interrupting everyone.
That's okay.
Sorry for interrupting to distract your tutor.
It's cool, isn't it, Karen? I love that little hack. Sometimes I want colour and I just think, oh, it's just not going to, you know, painting it just won't work. So the emboss was really cool little effect. This is a fun technique, isn't it, Tina? I do enjoy it. And it can be completely random, like it doesn't, look, it doesn't even have to be straight. Oh, see, Annette's ambi, what do you call it?
Ambi measuring.
Ambi measuring, yeah.
Ambi measurements.
We'll call it that.
Ambi distanced.
So again, I didn't want a lot of reference from the purple. I really wanted to just have little pops of the purple. I wanted this to become quite light. I am going to admit a secret. I made a pink tag, but it was too dark. So I remade a pink tag because it needed to be lighter. So that one's never going to be seen the light of day. So you're only going to see this one. It's not that bad. It was just too dark. It went backwards rather than forwards. So maybe the day that I created it, I was feeling a little dark and I needed to create it when I felt lighter. So maybe there's a story in that.
But it's not. It's a happy little accident.
It is yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So it might appear on something else. I might just enter it into my art journal instead and use it for something different. Ah, yes, absolutely, Tina. This is perfect for scraps. Perfect. You can use it with washi tape too. You don't just have to use paper. You can use washi, tissue, rice. You can use fabric. You can use all sorts of things to get this kind of effect done. It's very cool. So I've got my two little patchworks on my tag and they're very, very sticky at the moment. So they're going to get dried very well for the next step. So I always make sure that they're very well dry because because it's kind of, the gel medium acts like a glue. I don't want the colour to stick to the glue and then you can't move it. So I made sure that I added the heat to it. So once that was dry, I'm going to add some more wet medium and just a little bit of clear gesso. This is so that everything will move really easily when I add my colour, because I'm actually going to play with some distress crayons. So I want to be able to have a platform that is movable. And again, like that last tag, using some gel, some clear gesso allows for that movement. So I'm just wiping some excess because there's all these little nooks and crannies from the layering. The gesso gets caught. So I'm just wiping the excess off onto a paper towel because we don't want any build-up of the gesso. Yeah, I've applied it into an art journal as well, Susan. It works really well on art journals, and you can go bigger depending on the size of your art journal, and absolutely it would look amazing on cards. They're great textures, Fee, absolutely. So now I'm going in with some distress crayons and I'm going to just rub it in places that I want pops of colour. So I don't remember the colour crayons, but I can tell you. because I don't have a good memory tonight. So I'm going to use spun sugar, but the one we're using at the minute is picked raspberry. And now I am going to blend them in with my finger. So this is where I get to smudge the crayon. This I find extremely therapeutic. I love doing this technique. It's like when I can't have any other new ideas, this is a technique that I use often to add colour because it's instant and it's very rewarding. I also keep a baby wipe on handy. On hand, and I use it so that I can dampen my finger so that it smudges the crayon a little more easy. It's fun, isn't it, Tina? So much fun. So now I want to lighten some of it and just change the shade of pink. So now I'm using the spun sugar. These crayons are beautiful. They're super creamy, so they move really, really nicely.
Yeah, it looks like it's fun to use.
It is. It's super fun. Super, super fun. And you know what's even better? Is if you really, really don't like where it's smudged or you went too far, a baby wipe will pick it up and you can start again. So it's very, very forgiving. I do use oil pastels for this technique as well, which can be a little bit richer, but they are beautiful. They're a little bit more waxy, so they are really nice too. Oil pastels are beautiful. So I've added, so now you can see that light and dark. I've matched it to the papers that I've added, but I've allowed the colours to meld together. So I'm just going to keep adding some to the edges and bleed it out a little bit.
Kerry needs to give herself permission to just go crazy.
Absolutely.
I'm not telling you, by the way. I'm just suggesting.
Sure.
I'm just suggesting. In a very mild, non-assuming way.
It is very hard to be random, especially if you started off as a card maker or, mostly card makers I've found love structure. So if that is the way that a lot of scrapbookers are like that too. They're a cut and measure kind of person, and it's very hard to go random. So mixed media can be quite daunting, and it's very hard to be random. It is. I'd like to sometimes just be one of those people that can be, that very structured, and not have a piece of paper that's crooked, because that's all I can see tonight.
I think it's only hard when you photograph things sometimes, isn't it? And then a photograph, you say, oh, is it really crooked?
That's all right. I cover it up.
Yeah, you enjoy it.
The great thing is that there are no mistakes. There's always something that can cover up a small, what we call mishap. So with mixed media, there's always something that can cover.
This looks good.
So now I'm grabbing this very cool mandala stamp. Very cool. And I am emboss inking it. So I'm using this emboss ink over my mandala, and I'm going to use a white emboss powder. Again, I'm using a Seth Apter one because it's super white. It's like a cloud, he calls it, or something like that, and it's beautiful. I hear you, Tina. So there's a little bit of advertising there. That's who that stamp's by. And obviously it's been pressed up against an alpha stamp. So I'm adding this to the right hand side of my tag, and then I'm going to cover it in a white embossed powder.
Yes, it's hard to get the balance, isn't it? You've got to, work-life balance.
Yeah, it's very hard.
It's a constant changing thing, and you've got to have.
I do love Seth Apter stuff, Tina. It's very cool. The stamp is very cool. I don't know if they still make this. This was an older one when they were still doing the red rubber. So I'm not sure if this is still available. I've had it for forever. It was at one of the art and craft shows here in Adelaide years and years ago. I treated myself to it. And it's a real oldie but a goodie. I mean, let's just take a moment and love this emboss process. I just love embossed powder being set. Like, I just love it. I think they do, Michelle. I hope they do, because this stamp is beautiful. It's one of my favourites. So, yes, it's not, again, you can see, it's not a perfectly set stamp. Oh, excuse me, my voice is gone. Excuse me, talking too much. But I still love that it's not perfect. It's a little bit, well, again, I love imperfect. But you can see what's happening. So that was a really quick edit. So now I'm just trimming my picture to size. So my little daisy is getting cut to size. Welcome, Emily. So I'm now thinking about my position of the picture on my tag. Because my daisy is quite tall, I realise that a lot of that beautiful stamp gets lost. Joe, would you mind get me some water, please? Excuse me, everyone. So I thought I'd just put a little bit more of this beautiful this stamp in the top corner so that we can see it. So I'm now going to put that in that top left corner. And then I'm going to re-emboss so that we can actually see it, because I realise that as beautiful as that stamp is, it will get hidden a little bit with the layers that I put on it. But this also started to bring out the softness. Thank you. Thank you very much, Josiah. So again, let's just take in the beauty of embossing. It's extremely satisfying. We should do an ASMR on visual.
Just watching the emboss.
That's right. So I should just have kept that tag like that. Again, this is totally something you could do in your art journal. And it would be very, very impacting. Like if you were to leave that and just pop a quote on it, like that in your art journal, beautiful. So next I'm thinking about what other, if I need more colour, if I need to stamp anything, what I'm trying to work out what I need. So I'm starting to play with a couple of, I grabbed another crayon and then realised that I don't think I actually need that. So let's just get rid of my scrap piece of paper. It is so pretty. I love pink and white. And pink is not a colour I play with very often. Really isn't. So I did really enjoy playing with pink. And it's quite a pastel pink. Like it's, well, baby pink almost, you know. Like not a colour that I usually play with. So let's get some more pink. And this time I'm getting Kitsch Flamingo with the oxides. And I'm going to use that same stencil that was referenced in our last one, but this time I'm doing it in pink. Now it is super, super subtle on this tag, so it may not come through on the camera, but up close, when I show the photos at the end reveal, you will see these little snippets in this. And you can just see it shimmering in there. It is a beautiful stencil too. It's super subtle, super little. You can do lots with it. It's one of my favourites. And again, it's, you know, it's by Tim, so can't go wrong. I'm now getting some spun sugar in the oxide ink, and I'm going to go over those areas with the lighter shade of pink as well.
It's not a lighter shade of pale.
No, it's a lighter shade of pink.
Ah.
So it's a very, very subtle effect, I guess you could say. So I wanted to reference it a little bit more. So on my watercolour flower, I'm going to add a little bit of this spun sugar. Boom, there it is. Another song reference.
Mm.
The first pink was Kitsch Flamingo, Michelle. And then this one's spun sugar. So I'm just inking the edges with this pink. Super subtle, but it's enough to take away the sort of the brown edges from the tag. And I'm also rubbing some of the little bits of the crayon that didn't fully rub on. I used the blending tool to just continue that in through the layers. And then I'm dusting that a little bit of pink on my picture as well. Pretty in Pink. Wasn't that a movie?
A little blush, isn't it?
A little blush, yes.
And rouge.
It didn't leave home with no makeup on.
No.
So this one here, because we used all our bits of paper up on our background to create those layers, I decided I'd like to use one of my favourite pieces of chippy. This beautiful doily from Too Crafty. I put half of this onto my tag. And I'm actually going to paint it with an acrylic. So you'll see me playing around with where I'm going to position it. And I was really not loving anywhere I put it. But I thought, I'll just paint it first. Maybe something will come to me. So I'm using a very well-loved Dylusions. Oh, what colour is that? Hang on. Oh. It is Rose Quartz. Dylusions acrylic paint is Rose Quartz. So I didn't prime my chipboard with anything. I'm just going to give it a couple of coats of this beautiful acrylic paint. It paints so super smoothly, and yeah, it's just very easy to use and very quick to dry. It's an 80s movie, isn't it, Tina? Pretty in Pink.
Oh, had a red. I don't remember her name. That redhead.
So I'm not super fussy when it comes to painting my chippy. I like to still be able to see a little bit of rawness. So I don't paint every single edge of my chipboard. I just paint the top surface because I like to be able to get that contrast of what I'm actually using. It's pretty, isn't it? I love that doily. It's so nice.
So,
I like how you've got all different designs, Emma.
Do you?
They're all a bit different.
They are different. A bit like all the personalities in my head.
Is that how you get the inspiration?
Yes, they talk to me. Molly Ringwald, that's her.
Yes.
Yes. Wow. It's an oldie. Look how nice that pink goes. So look, you can see that we've used all different brands, most made by Ranger, I guess, but they all complement each other beautifully. So all these different pinks work so well together. That's what I love about, even though there may be a challenge. So this one, the challenge was to use the theme pink. You've been able to use different shades of pink. There's not just one pink. I'm grabbing out some of my new waxes that I bought the other day. And I've got a couple of different colours. Some are matte waxes and some are a metallic. And they're just going to absolutely. Thanks for noticing my wax, Michelle.
Was it painful?
No.
No, that's good.
No, it was a pleasure to get. So I'm using Old White, which was it is a metallic. And then I'm going to go over it a little bit with, I don't remember exactly the name of that, but it's a matte wax. Shabby Pink, it's called. Shabby Pink in the matte wax. So I've just dusted them lightly over the top of my doily, and then I'm going to use it a little bit in amongst my layers. Thanks, Annette. So I'm adding that white again to soften some of the pink shades. And it was a good excuse to use up the waxes as well. So I'm just finishing up with the wax. And then I'll start putting all my layers together.
So do you like that because you work for yourself, you get to make your own, you're not limited by what you do? Do you like that you get to play with your, whatever you want?
Yes and no. Yes, it's nice to be able to have an idea and create something that I like and get to play with that. But I love being able to share that with people too. That gives me a buzz. But I like it when I don't have to think about something. So if I see something pretty on the shelf or online, I like that too because the thought process isn't mine. So I like both. So now I'm happy with the position of my doily. So I hide a fair bit of it, but it's enough to make it pretty. No worries, Annette. Nice to have had you here. Have an amazing night.
Thanks for your company.
Yes, thanks for your company. And I'm just going to glue
there,
this.
aren't we?
We are. We're not far from finished. It's all almost done. So I'm going to end up foam taping my picture up just a little bit because it was on a bit of an angle from the chipboard, so I wanted to make sure that it was straight. I was just trying to see if I could bring out more of this dark pink, but I opted to not do it. So I'm just adding a couple more of those patterns through the stencil.
Is this one, is that a bit of purple on this one as well?
Yep. So there's little pops of purple, a very small amount of purple reference on this one. And yeah, it's, but it's there to reference the last tag, to go from blue to purple to pink. I wonder if anyone knows what the next colours are for the final two. Two? Yeah, two. So today I decided, because I've got a front cover for this, we're going to go one extra week. And I'm going to do a cover live. Or it's probably videoed, but you know what I mean.
A live cover.
A live cover, like a band.
Oh, yeah. So you're going to do someone else's cover.
Oh, Michelle, you are so close. And Kerry, you are absolutely correct. 4 petals will be coloured in. Oh, I love your guesses. You're just going to have to wait and see. They're good though, aren't they, Joe?
They're good.
So here I am just foaming it up because it was a little bit uneven with the chippy. Yes, they're certainly getting bright and sunny. So from dark to light is definitely the theme.
How long do you like your sort of lives and things? Have you got like a time that you like to be?
Yes, I do. Because I figure not everyone wants to hear me all night. So I like to try and aim for about an hour to an hour and a half, I think is nice. And I don't want to tie everyone up all night either. So I like to pop on here for about an hour to an hour and a half. Is that what you meant?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, just don't ask.
Oh, I love your guesses. Their colour guesses are good, aren't they, Joe?
And that's why you've split this up a bit too, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And that's why I thought I'll do the cover separately, because otherwise it could take too long, because knowing me, if I do it my style, well, there could be many a layer.
So next week
We'll have the final 6 and 7 of the actual tags, and then the week after we will do the cover. So this one's called Hope, and you can see that our daisy has opened up a little bit more. It's noticing that things are feeling positive. And the other word is believe. So hope and believe go hand in hand. Believe that you can come out of the dark and crazy, and that there's a bit of light coming your way. Thank you, ladies. And again, we have a little bug. Our daisy is not alone. So we've got a little ladybug on this one.
I think that for all those that have stayed on tonight,
Yes.
you might have a little treat, sneak to show people
Oh.
of something else.
What am I showing? Oh. Oh, I don't know. I'm never showing that.
I think you should.
Okay. So we are going to put our little believe. Now that's making me sing sure. Just on the top. That one isn't foam taped. That one is just stuck down. Oh, yeah, that's a great idea, Kerry. I like that idea. Yes. Oh, we'll show you. This one's almost finished, so if you hold 5. So I'm adding a little bit of Kitsch Flamingo, and I'm flicking that. Am I flicking it? I think so. I'm painting my petals. That's what I'm doing. I didn't think I flicked with pink paint. So
Did anyone guess?
yeah,
Oh,
Kerry.
yes.
Kerry guessed 4 petals.
Kerry did.
Now they want to see stuff that I feel very nervous about. Absolutely, Kerry. Sad to happy. And I think our daisy is looking more happy. It's feeling less alone and more like it can take on each day.
I mean, and life's not exactly like the daisy, is it? I mean, life goes backwards and forwards.
Absolutely.
But it's nice to journal it in this way.
It's probably why my first original pink tag went a bit dark. So there's our beautiful soft pink on our petals. Soft pink on petals, yes. I'm going to add a little bit of script stamp with a VersaFine pink ink. There's a lot of ink there.
Mm.
So I added a little bit of softness as well with this one with a bit of muslin that I'm teasing out the edges there. See? Can't help it. You have to sing sure.
With Believe?
Yeah. But I'm not doing it because I don't have a sure voice. Don't you sing it. No. No. Please, I want these people to stay. Oh, I like that idea, Val. That sounds awesome. Okay, give us your best. Sure.
Do you believe in
I hope everyone was deaf then. So yes, my favourite script stamp has come out and I am using it with this VersaFine Claire.
That was the only words I know, sorry. Yeah.
And it just added a nice little bit of colour within that white space. They are beautiful pads, Belinda. They are so nice. Joe needs another shirt. Yes, absolutely, Belinda. They work beautifully. I must admit, they are beautiful ink. So I was trying to get my little Posca pen to work, but it didn't really work. So I decided I went in with a little bit of a black fine line pen just to edge the corners a little bit. They must not have heard you singing. Oh, no. No, we don't need that, Tina.
No. There's no ship montage happening.
Oh. So finally, I'm flicking with a little bit of white paint, or my splash ink, which was my handy dandy splash ink. And I am flicking all over it to add that softness with the white. And that is this tag complete. So that's the 3 hefty ones in the middle, all done. So that is all done.
So you're going to do a little
A
little flick through in a minute?
Yeah, so we can look at our journey so far in a sec when this is finished. So only one little one on this one because Hope and Believe seemed powerful enough.
But you can certainly add something, surely, if you want to.
Oh, absolutely. Any quote that you wish. No worries, Tina. So, let's have a look at our progression so far. So, we have got our darkness. Oh, I've got my daggy warm jumper on, sorry. So, I'll just hold it up. So, is the light going to catch it? It's just a bit glary. So, that's our darkness. Then we're going to go grey with Alone, with lots of texture. So these two are very, very similar. You can see the transition from these two. And we're going to go blue with Confide. And then we go Accept. So this transition from the blue to the purple is quite a contrast. We really start to lose ourselves out of that darkness and into a bit of a brighter world when it comes to Confide and Accept. And then finally we went to Hope. So we took in a bit of that purple and we went from Accept to Hope and really started to see that light start coming through in our transition. So we can see the progression there, which looks quite nice, really, when you see it like that.
And it's happening, isn't it?
It is happening, yes.
But you have to stick around to next week.
Yes, next week is the final 2 of these 7. So we'll see what colours they are.
Well, do you want to see something that Emma has created very recently?
Oh, okay. So I've been behind the scenes creating our next mini kit. So this is
Probably go up on the weekend?
It'll go up on the weekend, yes. So this is our class. Does it fit in screen? So this is going to be a mini class in November, and we're going to create these art journal pages. I get nervous putting out that stuff. So yes, this will be available over the weekend, and yeah, it will. I'll go into more details about dates and everything then. But we've got this art journal class coming up.
Double page, isn't it?
Double page, yeah. So yes. So that's it. That's our little show for tonight. Hopefully, oh, I've just lost my feed on that one. That's okay. Hopefully, you've enjoyed the evening, and I can't wait to see some of your creations. So if you want to pop them, if you are creating along with it, and you want to show me, then by all means you can private message me if you don't want to share on the feed. But if you hop over to the Creative Hub, that's where we like to see all your creations and share and see what awesome stuff you have been making.
There's no pressure.
No pressure. None at all. And if you wait until you see all 7 cards, then that's awesome too. So thank you everyone for joining us tonight. It's been a pleasure to have you all. And
for laughing at my dad jokeness.
And his bad singing. So next week we'll see what songs he can produce. And we might even have an introduction.
We might be on time next week.
We might be. We'll try.
Yeah.
No worries. And I will message you, Kerry. So all good. Thank you everyone for joining us. It's been such an enjoyable evening, and we will...
And if you think you've got someone that wasn't on tonight, you can always share it with them. And yeah, there's no cost or anything. It's hopefully it helps people to express themselves, hey?
Oh, that was Madonna.
You've got to make them express themselves.
Okay, on that note, have an amazing night, everyone, and we will catch you next Thursday with our next installment of our anxiety and depression tags. Thanks for the chat, everyone. It's been amazing.
Bye.
See ya.